Okay, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I am a freelance working from home, and the morning so far has been amazing. Nowadays, I'm consulting for Stuart, which is a last-mile delivery company, and they have entered a steep curve. And a steep curve is, of course, great for the business, and it's also great for the technicians, because a steep curve normally brings very interesting technical challenges. You have to scale the platform, you have to understand the business needs, the constraints, work on performance, be systematic, be intuitive, bring your experience to the company, and that's something that I love to do. I love what I do. The morning has been amazing, but something even more amazing is about to happen. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The doorbell rings, and it is my daughter. My daughter is out of school, and she comes at home, and we are going to eat together. I have been eating together with my daughter for the last 12 years. And that's so unique and so priceless that the talk could finish here. I have been working remotely for the last 12 years. In 2006, I co-founded and was CTO of a software company. And then in 2009, I became independent. I have been doing consultancy non-stop since then, almost 10 years already. So I have been in both sides of the equation. This talk is about my experience about working remotely, not so much about tools or best practices or that kind of thing, but I am more interested in talking about the vital part of it, the human aspect of working remotely. Some occupations need that you are in a certain place. For instance, if you are a teacher, you have to go maybe to a classroom. If you are a doctor, maybe you have to go to a hospital. But with time, more and more jobs do not require strictly that you are in a certain place. They require that you have a computer and an internet connection. This is shifting. I know that this works in particular for software, because I have been involved in open source for many years. In the 2000s, I was involved in Tupel. I have been in the Rails core team for the last 7 years, since 2011. I am also lately interested in Elixir personally, Erlang. Open source challenges the software industry in several ways. For instance, generally speaking, in open source, you don't do estimations. In general, in open source, you don't work with deadlines. And open source is fundamentally asynchronous and distributed. For instance, in Ruby on Rails, we have a website where we give credit to anyone that has contributed to the source code. You see this number here. More than 5,000 people have contributed to Ruby on Rails through GitHub. Asynchronous communication. No meetings, anything. It works. Open source, you could say, has taken over the software world. And the reality is that it is done this way. It works. I know that as a first-hand experience for many years. In my view, working remotely has like 3 axes, 3 degrees of freedom. And every company and every individual can be situated in this 3D space. Freedom of location. In some companies, there's no option. You have to go to the office. Some companies are like remote friendly, let's say, and some companies are fully distributed. Freedom of schedule oftentimes goes together with freedom of location. Because if you, for instance, are able to work from home, Maybe for your particular task, you are not required to be online at a certain time window. For instance, if you are into customer support, maybe you have to cover some fixed time windows. Maybe if you are in a development team, it doesn't matter really. As long as there's a reasonable overlap in the team or something like that, you can adapt your day-to-day to your own lifestyle. And then freedom of dedication. Normally, in a company, employees do not have freedom of dedication. Or maybe there can be some flexibility, but consultants may have this. Like, I decide how much to bill every month. It's up to me. Some people may think, isn't this a jungle? Is it going to be a party? There's no rules. Is it anarchy? No, man, no anarchy. Because people, regular people, responsible adults that have their routines, and in my experience, both in open source and in companies, what you get are super professional, very focused teams. Let me share with you an anecdote from the university. I taught dynamic languages at the University of Barcelona for 7 years in my spare time. We have the theory classroom and the practice classroom. The practice classroom had, we made there a class 2 hours long doing exercises. Okay, in a class 2 hours long, you have a break, right? Normally, at the university, for instance, if the class is from 6 to 8 at 7 p.m., you do a break. So, first day in the year, I told my students, look, this is a 2-hour-long class. We have a break of 10 minutes, but we normally would do a break at 7 p.m. Nevertheless, it's very likely that exactly at 7 p.m. is not convenient for you to stop doing what you are doing because you are going to be into a problem. You're going to be hacking. And maybe it's not good for you at that moment to drop the computer. You want to continue. So let's do the following thing. You can do a break whenever you want. Indeed, you can go to the bathroom, go out of the class as much as you want, come back whenever you want. It's up to you. You do not have to ask for permission. Just stand up, go out. To my surprise, the result of this was that nobody took the break. Nobody took the break. Not only that, maybe at 8:10, I was like, guys, we should have some dinner, right? The point here is that I was being sincere. This is very fundamental. I was being honest with this rule. It's not a mind hack. But the consequence is that one. There are 2 subliminal messages here. One is, this is not a boring exercises class. You're going to have fun. You're going to be hooked on the problems. Subliminal, implicit message. The other one is, guys, you are grown-ups. I trust your judgment. When you trust people, you get trust back. Distributed companies can hire people, the best people, wherever they are. They are not constrained by the locality of the company. I have worked for companies all over the world. They have reduced costs because the offices can be much smaller. They are able to have deep work done. Deep work is the work that requires long periods of uninterrupted work. There are less interruptions. These are the important problems, the difficult, the hard problems that require that you have long periods of focus, compared to the urgent treadmill kind of problems that you have, in your day-to-day. Also, they promote a well-being culture. You have a healthier, I would say, atmosphere, because it's a trust, it's a mutual trust kind of relationship that, in my view, has a better quality. And again, as a side effect, not as a mind trick, but as a consequence of this high-quality relationship, Normally, then you get loyalty as well. You may think, well, this for small companies, 20 people may work, but, well, Envision does not have even headquarters. They are 700. GitHub hosts the majority of open source of the world and the majority of, indeed, the software that companies do. They are like 800 people distributed, and many more examples. Some microsystems discovered doing a study that the 98% of the carbon footprint that the employees generated was generated on commuting. Only the marginal part was generated while working at Sun. Commuting, big deal. Time, money, wear and tear of your car or whatever, your train, whatever. How much time? 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, depending on your commuting. It's a lot of time. A lot of time that you can use to go to the gym. You can use to learn new things. In my case, I do open source. You can do your hobbies. Have more time available in your day-to-day, every day. Take your kids to school. A Segway, why not? My daughter. Can you imagine the quality time, the fun that we have had together? There's 8 years between these pictures. This is priceless. This is Paco Guzman. I worked with Paco a few years ago. He's a developer, a machine working. And Paco is a runner. He does triathlons. He does half Ironmans. And thanks to having freedom of location and freedom of schedule, Paco was able to make work and his strict training schedule compatible. Maybe he wake up at 6:30, work at a couple of hours, then they go for swimming. You know? They came back, fine. It's a fuller, more round life. Very humble, but very important. Your food. If you are at home, you decide. You can control the quantity and the quality of your food. Also, you are going to have less interruptions, which sounds like heaven for many people. Less interruptions. You are able to focus. For people at least doing technical work, this is super important because people doing intellectual work need long slots of uninterrupted periods. So you can get into a problem, load the context, and work on that. If you have that context loaded and someone taps you, have you seen my email? It disappears. You need those are strikes. Indeed, looks like Panasonic sees this as a big deal because apparently there's a market for horse blinders for humans. To be honest, I have not been able, this is TechCrunch, and links to a crowdfunding page in Japanese. So I have not been able to ensure that this is not a prank. Could be a prank, I don't know. Looks legit, but to be honest, I don't really know. Anyway, I would say it's kind of a Black Mirror type of prank. Even if it was a prank, it could be true. It could happen. Makes sense for open spaces. Okay, we have seen some kind of day-to-day small things that can change your life. I'm going to give you some first-hand examples of people that have taken this to a different level. They have been able to make choices that impact more their lives. This guy is Luismi Caballé. Luismi is CTO of a company called Vivanjo. They do tools for video on demand. Vivanjo is distributed. They have an office in Madrid, they have an office in London, but they are distributed. Indeed, the CTO was living in Berlin, all right? Okay, his fiancée got a job in the University Pompeu Fabra here in Barcelona. To accept the job, she had to move. Was it a problem for them? Absolutely not, because Luis needs a computer and an internet connection. They moved, everything is fine. This is David Heinemeier Hansson, the creator of Ruby on Rails, founder and co-founder and CTO of Basecamp, best-selling author, winner of 24 hours of Le Mans doing car, racing. Amazing guy. He, for some years, has lived in Chicago, but Chicago has a hard winter. He bought a nice house in Marbella, south of Spain. When it's winter in Chicago, the family moves to Marbella. Fantastic. He only needs a computer and an internet connection. In my case, I live here in Barcelona, but have an apartment in the seaside, near Barcelona. When my daughter finishes school, do we need to be in Barcelona? No. We move the family to the seaside. Can you imagine the difference in the quality of the summer that my daughter has thanks to this? An open space, friends, swimming pool, a beach, summer nights. The quality is absolutely different from the quality of a summer we can have in a flat in Barcelona. Totally different. What about me? I need a computer and an internet connection. That's it. In addition, before lunch, maybe I can swim also a little bit. It's a totally different context for working. I have not mentioned the prototype of remote work, which is the digital nomad. In my experience, the digital nomad is statistically rare. Normally, remote people work at home. So the digital nomad that is popular in Instagram, that's statistically is not significant. But there are digital nomads. And this guy is Sasha Kors. I met Sasha consulting for TopTal. This guy is amazing. He was born in Siberia, in Russia, in a place where there are no technology companies. But he learned to do development online and was able to work on what he wanted to work, which is that thing with every Martians remotely, from a remote part of the country. After that, he was able to seek better weather, and he moved to Thailand. From Thailand, he started to travel in South Asia, looking for surf spots, snowboard spots, and after that, he just liked to travel. So since 2012, he has been living in all these places. Life choices. Everything is a life choice. You can customize your life according to your lifestyle, according to your priorities, to your hobbies. You may have seen this illustration by a Swedish artist that wants to highlight how car-centric our cities. I love this drawing. Okay. I believe that cities are kind of inefficiently designed around cars. And in a sense, I also believe that that translates to our topic, which is that in our society, I believe, somehow, our lives are inefficiently designed around workplaces. Remote work can turn that inside out. You have more options. You can adapt to your work style. You can have a better quality of life. You can have a better work-life balance. Not only that, even more. If you love what you do as much as I do, the line between work and life kind of dissolves, and everything just becomes life. Thank you.